Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Paul's Workshop, and today we're looking at a Bearcat scanner that we picked up on eBay. So let's dive right in. Okay, among the many hobbies here at Paul's Workshop is amateur radio, scanners, etc. And I've been getting into the old scanners a little bit. I just actually got the new Uniden, the BCD, what is it, the 996, the digital mobile base radio, which and maybe do a video on that at some point too. But along the way, we're always looking at other things to kind of dabble into and have fun with and play around with. And eBay is a treasure trove of inexpensive analog scanners. Now, a lot of folks will say, hey, they're obsolete. And in many cases, I guess they are, but there's still a lot to listen to on the analog channels. But anyway, this one was $8. Okay, no antenna. Operational, it says, but it doesn't come with an antenna. Shipped for another $6 and change. So for, it's under $15, something to check out and play around with. So it's kind of dirty. So it's a good place to really hone our skills on cleaning up these, vintage electronics. Let's give it a try. Usually, now the best way to test a new scanner, or a scanner, any scanner, but particularly one that you're buying used, is to listen to something that you know it's going to receive, and that's the weather channel. So we got this adapter, which is a Motorola style plug to a BNC connector, which BNC is the standard for, scanners usually come with a BNC connector. But a lot of them used to come with this Motorola style plug. So, and then we have the wall adapter that came with it. All right, we plugged her in now, and we're going to power it up and see what we get. Okay, so we have a display. We have just a 2-digit, I guess that's an LCD or a 2-digit LED display. No frequency display or anything like you'd have in a more modern one. Let's see, let's go to weather.
The pressure was 30.38 inches and falling. The dew point 38 degrees. And the relative humidity 52%.
Okay, now we tested this out. We know our speaker works. We know that we're going to receive something, so she's not DOA. Let's program in an analog frequency. Now, the counties around here, they're still dispatching a fire department on both analog and digital, so we're going to put in one of those analog frequencies. Now, the radio, if it's in scan mode, so this is where you may start, you're going to need to put it in manual, and we're going to bring it to channel 1 because we want to program channel 1. Now, in order to do this, you start putting in your frequency. Our frequency is 154.785 megahertz. We're going to do 154.785, enter. And now we're in channel 1. If you want to know what you did, right, if you want to make sure that you put in the right frequency, what you can do is bring it back to channel 1. And then you're going to hit review, 154.785. So you can double check your program. It's pretty clever, actually, to be able to get away without putting in a full display, but give you something that you can still program your frequencies in. So remember, this is coming at a time probably when you're switching over from those crystal-controlled scanners and things. This is kind of a pretty good deal. Okay, now before I go too deep into anything, with something like this, if you look at this, this is a pretty gross, dirty-looking scanner. It hasn't been smoked in, so luckily there's no tobacco smoke smell or nicotine smell, so that's good. A lot of times these things were smoked all over and they're toast in that way. But all right, so I just like to open it up and just take a look inside, make sure that there's nothing, no unwanted hitchhikers that might have come along. You never know where these things came from. So we got our screws out. Let's see how easy this is to separate. She comes right apart, and there we got to look inside. And this one's actually not too bad. We definitely have dust. You can look, see if you have any capacitors that look like they're on their way to explosion or anything like that. And no, looks like we're doing okay in there. We got a little corrosion here. Did that leak? No. That looks like a little bit of that glue that they put, or wax. So wait for the grandfather clock to go through its paces here. So I blew the dust out. took a paintbrush here, gave it a good dusting. We don't really have any critters or hitchhikers or anything in here, so not too bad. It's kind of funny. I guess they put that little round feature in there to make room for the speaker, I guess. I don't know, but so yeah, we can put this case back together, and then we can give this a nice cleanup. So let's put the screws back in. Okay, now you can set to work on cleaning the outside. So we have a lot of crud right here in the speaker grill. And some folks, they might do run a vacuum while they're doing this, or blow this out with compressed air, but you can kind of just get in there with, like I'm doing with an old paintbrush or a toothbrush, anything you got that's going to get into those grooves. Now, if you didn't want to use alcohol or you didn't have it around, you could use like a Clorox wipe or a tub of towels or something like that, and start to, really start to see that come off. Still, I'd be a little careful around the lettering. All right, there we go. That's after, 15, 20 minutes of some cleaning. Got the grease off it, the residue that was on there. Again, it wasn't smoked in, so that's a really good situation, that it wasn't cigarette smoked up. But let's put plug the plug in. And this is a pretty neat little feature they have here, which gives you a place to put the plug so that you're not putting stress on here when you pull it. I think that's a brilliant little feature that they add there. So let's put in the antenna, and we'll just listen to it a little bit.
24 Bartley Road, Carver's deer, she pulled into that lot. Negative injuries, no smoking or leaking from the car.
It does give you an opportunity to test your restoration and cleaning techniques. So yeah, we'll get a nice little antenna for it. Right now it's just running with this adapter, but yeah, so you can definitely find these little analog beauties out there, less than $20, and lots of things you can do with them. This one doesn't have a search function. The ones with the search are great because you can leave them just doing like one band search all the time. But this one, I'd say you put a couple of your local ham repeaters in it, maybe your local fire department or police if you got them, even road utility. 10 frequencies it can listen to. Just kind of put it on the side, and there you go. So that's it. The Uniden, the old Bearcat 142XL.